What's poppin', y'all? It's your boy RiceCuts, and in today's video I'll be showing you guys a full-length tutorial on how I do a low fade comb over without the part, so stay tuned. So my first step with every fade is just to comb the hair out. What this does is it preps your canvas for a nice fade. It also lets you know the natural hair growth pattern of your client. Now, after properly saturating my client's head, I'm going to start off with a 1/2 inch trim off the top. So essentially what I do is I just grab a piece from the front and I trim about 1/2 inch, and I use that piece as a guideline for the rest of the hair. So pretty much I trim 1/2 inch and then I grab some from that piece and then grab some new hair behind it, and I just follow the guideline and so forth. Keep going until you trim the whole head top. Now this step is very important if you do not want to have the part in your client's comb over. So essentially I'm just going to grab a section from the top and part it evenly, and I'm just going to cut whatever hangs down from the top to the sides. Now after that layer is done, I'm going to grab another section from the top of the hair and do the same thing. I'm just going to cut whatever hangs from the top. Essentially what this does is that each layer will rest on the layer below it so that it'll blend really easy without the part. Now before I start my fade, I'm going to remove the bulk of the hair on the sides with a number 2 guard. I'm going to be just going straight up, not really digging into the top because we're trying to blend it in. And right here I'm going to do a clipper over comb technique just to get some of the extra hairs that are hanging from the 2 into the top. So in order to determine what angle I like to keep my comb at, I just use the shape of my client's head and just cut off whatever hangs from the top to the side. Now to start the fade, I'm going to use my 5-star magic clips corded to make my first guideline. I like to contour this line to the shape of my client's head instead of making a straight line. Now if I do a straight line for every single one of my fades, then every fade will look the same. So this makes every rice cut unique to every single one of my clients. Now I'm going to use my 5-star wireless detailers to get the stubble a little closer to the skin to make it easier for my next step, which is the Andes Pro Li foil shavers to remove the stubble from the bottom of the fade. This will make your client's skin as smooth as a baby's butt. As I shave closer to the top of the bald line, I'm going to use circular motions with the corner of my foil shavers just to prevent making a harsh bald line that's going to be hard to remove with your clippers. Now with my magic clips with no guard open, I'm going to make my next guideline and go up about 1 inch all the way around the head following my previous guideline. You want to make sure your guidelines are consistent so you can get a nice even fade. Basically, the way I remove my guidelines is by making a ratio with the lever to the space of the guideline. So pretty much, if my clipper is 75% closed, I'm going to go up 75% on my guideline. And I'll work my way down and close my clipper halfway, then go halfway up on my guideline, then I'll go 25%, and then eventually keep doing that until my clipper is all the way closed and my guideline is fully removed. A big tip I'd like to throw out there is that in order to take a line out, you gotta use what you put it in with. So if you made a bald line with your clippers closed, you're gonna have to use your clippers closed to take that line out. My next step is gonna be the 1 guard open, and I'm gonna be using that same method that I just explained to you right now. I'll keep it all the way open, and I'll keep closing it as I work my way down. Now because the 1 guard closed doesn't directly fade into the no guard open, I'm just going to use my half guard and pretty much play with the lever until that line that we made is going to be very faint, but we're going to do it until that line is removed. Now fading into the beard is pretty much the same thing as fading into the hair, just going downwards. So I start off with my clipper open and play with the lever until that line is removed. And I'm going to put my one guard in there and play with my lever until that line is very faint. And then finally, I'm going to put my half guard in there and completely remove that line. Now I'm going to line up my client's beard. What this does is that accentuates your client's jawline. And pretty much you just want to keep it natural, just clean it up. And for the bottom line, I like to keep it a little bit over the Adam's apple, but just enough to sharpen your client's jawline. Now as far as the straight razor, the most important thing you want to keep in mind is that you want to stretch the skin away from your blade. So pretty much what this does is that it makes the skin very tight and it'll help you prevent nicks and razor bumps. I'm going to finish up my haircut with lining up his C-cup hooks. This just brings the fade together along with the lineup with the beard. I'm going to hit this with a straight razor after using the same method, pulling away from the blade just to get that as sharp as possible. As you can see here, we're going to do a little bit more finishing touches just to sharpen up the lines. Again, we're going to pull the skin away from the blade just to prevent any nicks and bumps. Now I'm going to finish off the haircut with a little bit of blow dry in style. What this does, it'll give your client's hair some shape and volume, as well as dry it up and prep it for the pomade. I'm going to be using Suavecito pomade. What I'm going to do is just grab a finger scoop and rub it all against my hands. I'm just going to run my fingers through the hair, and instead of just globbing the entire Suavecito on there, this will evenly distribute the pomade into the hair and not make it too hard or too rough. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. This is the finished product. If you liked the video and the tutorial, please leave a like and comment and subscribe down below for more content. Thank you guys. Peace.